What's good, y'all? My name's Alex Snow and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is called how to control your mind, and I have to put a disclaimer out because some of y'all might be thinking like I'm just talking out of my ass or anything, so I gotta let y'all know everything I say in these videos or any advice I give or just perspective of thought or anything that I give to y'all is I do it myself. So I'm not talking from another person's perspective or whatever, and obviously I'm still young, so I'm trying to grow as a person. That's not an excuse, but I'm just saying that all these videos, if I put out, and if let's say in the future, if I were to backtrack on my word or something, I'm not going to continue to go down that route. These videos are strictly to help y'all and to help me as well. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about before we get into how to control your mind is the importance of controlling your mind. So what I want is I want to be so many things in life. I want to be a musician, I want to perform, I want to do YouTube, I want to connect with you guys. I want to just basically have a really good connection to whether you want to call it the audience, fans, whatever you want to call it. I want to have a good connection, and I really want to express the creativity that's flowing through my head. So in order to do that, I cannot continue to do everything that has been programmed in my mind for however many years I've been living for. If I want to be an artist, I can't be waking up late every single day. I can't be on my phone all the time just doing nothing. So, and many of you may be doing these things as well. Many of you may be procrastinating, maybe just not satisfied with where you are in life. And with the last video I made, I said just do it, like no Nike, but just do it. Just change your mind. Just if you realize you're doing something, just stop doing it. It's easier said than done, but I'm going to give 3 ways with examples of how to change your mind. So the first step that I have is focus on your breathing, or what could also be known as meditation. When was the last time you focused on your breathing? We breathe every single day. It is so necessary, yet we take it for granted, Until the time where if you're underwater or if you're in a claustrophobic type of area, you start to realize how important your breath is. If you're having anxiety in a certain amount of time, you start breathing a lot, your BPM starts to raise or whatever, and you're like, But if you start in those moments of time, if you're stressing or something, focus on your breathing. It truly grounds yourself. The human mind, it tends to jump around with so many things. We're not these computer robotic type of beings where if we're think of one thing, we're gonna think on that whole thing for like the whole day type of thing. We tend to. I'm not saying we never get things accomplished, because obviously we do. Look at the society we live in. There's buildings being made and all these things. But I'm saying, how do you think the people that created all these things that we use, how do you think that they came to creating those things? Do you think that they were just doing multiple things at once that had nothing to do with the thing that they're creating? And it's not to say that once you start focusing on your breathing, you're just going to be laser focused on everything. But if you practice the habit of breathing, you're going to at least reduce the amount of times or the ADHD that you have that is jumping from places to places. The second thing is to switch to a different action than what you are currently doing at the moment. Let's say that you are consuming social media for however long you're doing it. Maybe you were doing it for 30 minutes, an hour, time's just passing by. So what I like to do in those moments are I look at the clock and I focus on the amount of time that I've been scrolling or just doing nothing. And then what I tend to do is either I'll work out, I'll go back to working on a project, or I'll just do something that is productive. The next time you're doing this, I want you to look at the amount of time that you've been doing it. Question yourself, have you learned anything within that amount of time? Have you done anything productive? So once you realize the amount of time that you've been doing it, stop it. Now, like I said before, it's easier said than done, but this one you truly need to focus on. Just like with the breathing, you're conscious. You're starting to build these habits of being conscious about whatever you're doing in the moment. You have to stop and switch to something else. Don't just stop. If you're on your phone and you just stop and you just do nothing, then you're being at least like less productive because you're not consuming any educative information or entertainment or anything. You're just doing nothing. So you need to switch to something else. Whether it is you're working on, you have a project, you have a side hobby, you have, something that you need to do like training, working out, whatever, something of that nature. If you just switch to that in moments of where you're indulging in all this pleasurable high dopamine activities, then you are training your subconscious to be active when it wants to be lazy. So the last thing that you're going to want to do is to ignore your mind. And you might be saying, oh, well, how does that make sense? We're trying to control our mind, not ignore our mind. Wrong. Or right. At the same time, simultaneously right and wrong. So what I mean is, the way our minds work is, if you consistently do something for a certain period of time and you're consistently doing it, your mind will just unconsciously start doing these things. Let's say, for an example, you have a bad habit of sleeping in. The second you wake up, if you start training yourself to ignore those thoughts of being like, oh, I'll go back to sleep, or I'm tired or whatever, and you just say, fuck that, and you just wake up and you start being productive. If you start doing that on a daily basis, you're breaking the programming that has been implanted in your mind for so long. And then you're taking control of your mind. All these things that you do not realize that you are unconsciously doing, you need to break through from those things. Another example, like I just gave before with the social media. If you're constantly on social media and you are unconsciously scrolling, you are not in control of your mind. Many people, they'll say to take away these things, whether it's social media, drugs, or whatever, they say just eliminate it. And yes, and if you do take away those things, you will, for a certain period of time, reprogram your brain to start acting differently. But if you truly want to control your mind, have those things and right in front of you so your mind is tempted, but learn to say no to your mind. With that being said and done, take control of your mind because it will advance your career and it will benefit you in many ways. The next time that you are angry at yourself for not speaking up or not doing something that you think that you should have done, when you have those thoughts of wanting to do something, when you start to discipline yourself, you will be able to do those things that you want to do. So with all that being said and done, my name is Alex Snow. This is How to Control Your Mind, and stay in tune for the next video. Peace out.